AFP Helene Valenzuela A school is repaired in Marigot on the French Caribbean island of St. Martin after Hurricane Irma battered the region earlier this month. Islands in the Caribbean still reeling from megastorm Irma braced Monday for a fresh battering as Hurricane Maria approached, wielding potentially lethal force. In just a few hours, the U.S. National Hurricane Center (NHC) hiked Maria from a Category 2 to a Category 4 hurricane, packing winds of 130 miles (209 kilometers per hour) that it forecast would strengthen further over the next day or so. Potentially life-threatening storm surges, destructive waves, flash floods and mudslides threatened the Leeward Islands, the island group that includes Martinique, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, the NHC said. The eye and the intense inner core is expected to pass near Dominica in the next few hours, the center warned in its 2100 GMT bulletin, describing Maria as an extremely dangerous major hurricane. The French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe, the bridgehead for aid for Irma-hit French territories, ordered all at-risk zones to be evacuated. The order, effective from 4 p.m. local time, bars specific areas considered to be at risk of flooding, submersion and landslips, according to the statement issued by the island's prefect. Islanders on Martinique, which is also part of France, were ordered to stay indoors under a maximum level violet alert. As heavy rain beat down, energy supplier EDF said power had been cut off from 16,000 homes on Martinique, which has a population of some 400,000. Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia and the British island of Montserrat are also on alert. AFP Cedric Isham Calvado's people on Guadeloupe stocked up with food and water as Hurricane Maria approached on Monday in Pointe-à-Pitre. Elodie Court, the boss of a metalworking company, said there had been frantic preparations to limit the damage from the storm. "We spent the morning strapping down the aluminium to stop it from flying away if the winds are strong," she said. But she worried that the torrential rains forecast could flood her home. "We'll seal everything as tightly as we can, and then we'll certainly go and stay with friends for the night," she said. Worst-case scenario criticized for the pace of relief efforts in their overseas territories devastated by Irma. Britain, France and the Netherlands said they were boosting resources for the Caribbean as Maria approaches. "We are planning for the unexpected, we are planning for the worst," said Chris Austin, head of a UK military task force set up to deal with Irma, as the British Virgin Islands readied for the storm. On the island of St. Martin, which is split between France and the Netherlands, authorities announced a red alert ahead of Maria's arrival. "We're watching its trajectory very closely, and we're preparing for the worst-case scenario," said local official Anne Lobbies. The Dutch Navy tweeted that troops were heading to the two tiny neighboring islands of Saba and St. Eustatius to ensure security following widespread complaints of looting and lawlessness on St. Martin after the first hurricane. French Interior Minister Gerard Collomb said 110 more soldiers would be deployed to the region to reinforce about 3,000 people already there, shoring up security, rebuilding infrastructure and distributing aid. But he warned of major difficulties if Guadeloupe is hard hit, noting the territory was the logistical center from where we could supply St. Martin and organize all the airlifts. Maria is due to sweep over the south of St. Martin as the Dutch side of St. Martin is called on Tuesday. The island was among the worst hit by Irma, with 14 killed. Air France, Air Caribs and Corsair have cancelled flights in and out of Martinique and Guadeloupe. Hurricane series Irma, a Category 5 hurricane, left around 40 people dead in the Caribbean before churning west and pounding Florida, where at least 20 people died. AFP Kuntian hurricanes Maria and Irma. Irma broke weather records when it whipped up winds of 295 kilometers per hour for more than 33 hours straight. Another hurricane, Jose, is also active in the Atlantic and has triggered tropical storm warnings for the northeastern United States. Many scientists are convinced that megastorms such as Irma and Harvey before it are intensified by the greater energy they can draw from oceans that are warming as a result of climate change.